What Blockbuster did next shocked the entire world. They revolutionized movie rentals, but a single digital bet nearly took them down. Blockbuster, the undisputed king of home entertainment, built an empire on a simple premise: an endless aisle of VHS tapes for every taste. For decades, Friday nights meant a pilgrimage to the blue and yellow glow of Blockbuster, the thrill of browsing, the anticipation of cinematic escapism. But the ground was shifting beneath their feet. An invisible wave of digital innovation was about to crash over their carefully constructed kingdom. The age of the dusty VHS tape was fading, and a new format, the DVD, promised a revolution of its own. In the 1990s, Blockbuster was an unstoppable force. With over 9,000 stores globally, it was more than just a store, it was a cultural institution. The allure of instant gratification, the vast selection, and the simple joy of discovery drew millions. Rewind fees were a nuisance, yes, but the sheer accessibility of it all outweighed the minor inconveniences. Blockbuster had mastered the physical rental market, a complex logistical ballet of inventory management, timely returns, and a relentless drive for customer satisfaction. They were the 800-pound gorilla of a market they themselves had defined and dominated, seemingly invincible. Then in 1997, a technological game-changer arrived: the digital versatile disc, or DVD. It wasn't just a new format, it was a quantum leap. Offering vastly superior picture and sound quality, the convenience of chapter selection, and the exciting promise of bonus features, the DVD was irresistible to cinephiles and casual viewers alike. This shiny, compact disc represented the future, a cleaner, sharper, more interactive way to experience movies at home. The transition from bulky VHS tapes to these elegant discs was inevitable, a technological tide that couldn't be stemmed. Simultaneously, the internet was gaining traction, and a fledgling company called Netflix was experimenting with a radical idea: DVD rentals by mail. This model bypassed the physical store entirely, offering a vast digital catalogue accessible from one's living room. Blockbuster, comfortable in its brick-and-mortar dominance, initially dismissed these new threats. They saw the DVD as just another tape format, and the internet as a novelty. Their massive infrastructure, built around physical stores, seemed too valuable to abandon, and the idea of consumers choosing movies online was slow to penetrate their retail-focused mindset. By the turn of the millennium, Blockbuster's executives were facing a difficult confluence of events. While their retail empire was still profitable, the landscape was undeniably changing. The rise of the DVD meant studios were initially hesitant to license their content for newer, more aggressive rental models, clinging to traditional distribution. Simultaneously, Netflix's subscription service was gaining momentum, offering a compelling alternative to parental fees and late charges. The inherent inefficiencies of their vast physical network, once a strength, began to feel like an anchor, a costly legacy in a rapidly digitizing world. Recognizing the seismic shift, Blockbuster made a bold move. They decided to acquire certain assets and also create their own DVD by mail service. The idea was to leverage their brand recognition and existing customer base to compete directly with Netflix. They launched Blockbuster Online in 2004, a service that mirrored Netflix's model, sending DVDs directly to customers' homes. The ambition was to integrate their physical stores with this online offering, creating a hybrid model that could serve all customer needs, a seemingly comprehensive strategy. The execution, however, proved far more challenging. Blockbuster's online platform was clunky and inefficient, a stark contrast to Netflix's user-friendly interface. Their inventory systems struggled to keep pace with demand, leading to frequent out-of-stock notices, a frustrating experience for customers accustomed to Blockbuster's immediate availability. Critically, they failed to adequately integrate the online service with their physical stores. The synergy they envisioned never materialized. Stores were still burdened by old rental contracts and logistical challenges, while the online service operated in parallel, lacking true integration. The core of Blockbuster's problem lay in their existing business model. Their revenue was heavily reliant on late fees and parental charges, a system that Netflix's subscription model actively undermined. Converting their massive physical infrastructure, with its high overheads, to a digital-first approach was an expensive and painful process. They were essentially trying to build a new, lean digital operation while simultaneously maintaining their massive legacy retail network. This dual investment proved incredibly costly, draining resources that could have been allocated to truly innovating their digital offerings or streamlining their physical footprint. As Blockbuster grappled with its DVD by mail strategy, the next technological wave was already cresting: streaming video. While Blockbuster was still focused on physical discs, Netflix began its strategic pivot towards streaming in 2007. They recognized that the future wasn't just about mailing discs, it was about delivering content instantly over the internet. This foresight, combined with their growing subscriber base and robust recommendation engine, put them miles ahead. Blockbuster, still heavily invested in the DVD model, was slow to respond, and its infrastructure was not built for the high bandwidth demands of digital streaming. The market's verdict was clear. While Blockbuster invested heavily in a half-hearted attempt to replicate Netflix's DVD model, Netflix was doubling down on its streaming future. Blockbuster's attempts at innovation were often too little, too late. Their strategy was hampered by internal divisions and a deeply ingrained retail culture that resisted the radical changes needed to compete in the digital age. The financial strain of maintaining their vast store network, coupled with the mounting costs of competing in a new online space, began to severely impact their bottom line. Industry analysts and former employees often point to a critical moment: Blockbuster's rejection of an offer to acquire Netflix for $50 million in 2000. This single decision, born from a lack of foresight and an overestimation of their own market dominance, has become the stuff of business legend. Had they acquired Netflix back then, they might have owned the future of movie rentals. Instead, they chose to fight a battle they were ill-equipped to win, pouring resources into a dying format, while their competitor built a sustainable, future-proof business model. The inevitable decline continued. Faced with mounting debt and an inability to adapt, Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy in 2010. Their once ubiquitous stores, symbols of Friday night entertainment, began to disappear, replaced by digital streaming platforms accessible from any device, anytime, anywhere. The company that had defined an era of movie rentals, that had a store on nearly every corner, was brought to its knees not by a single competitor, but by its own inability to anticipate and embrace the fundamental shifts in technology and consumer behavior. Their bet on DVDs, while initially seeming like a safe transition, ultimately became a symbol of their resistance to true digital transformation. Today, the landscape of home entertainment is unrecognizable from Blockbuster's heyday. Streaming reigns supreme, offering vast libraries of content on demand. But the legacy of Blockbuster's struggle serves as a potent reminder: even the most dominant companies are vulnerable to disruption. Their story is a cautionary tale about the importance of embracing innovation, understanding evolving consumer habits, and making bold, even risky, bets on the future, not just the present. The DVD was a step, but Blockbuster faltered in taking the leap into a fully digital world. The era of the video rental store is largely over, relegated to nostalgia and the occasional, almost defiant surviving outpost. Blockbuster's bet on DVDs was a move to adapt, but it wasn't enough to navigate the tidal wave of digital transformation. It was a bet that highlighted their hesitancy to fully embrace the digital future, a future that arrived faster and with more disruptive force than they, or perhaps anyone, could have initially imagined. The lessons learned from Blockbuster's downfall continue to resonate in boardrooms and startups alike, a constant reminder that adaptation is not optional, but essential for survival in the ever-evolving marketplace. DVDs became Blockbuster's final, fatal blockbuster gamble,